Senator, do you think we will see a concerted Democratic effort, understanding that because of the nature of Stephen Miller's employment, there is not the same process for impeaching Stephen Miller that there would have been for, let's say, Kristi Noem? Still, I think we have seen pressure campaigns be enormously effective on this administration, especially as we saw in the case of Noem. If all of a sudden the president believes that either attention is being distracted from himself or there are unflattering headlines. So one, that question about Stephen Miller, and two, do you think her ousting in any way changes the contours of this DHS funding battle?
Yeah, I don't think it changes that funding battle because it is about making sure that we put the policies in place. I'm not going to trust that a DHS secretary is going to behave differently. Now, we want to have a DHS secretary that we can reach out to, and hopefully they will behave differently. But you know, we have not seen any evidence of that from any of the Trump appointees. The only thing that he cares about when you look at the folks that he nominates, it's not about experience. It's not about the track record getting a job done. It's only about loyalty. You have to be absolutely loyal to the president. And if it's for some reason you make a mistake or embarrass him, you're gone. You're immediately fired. There's no loyalty that goes two ways. It's only a one-way street. And so we have directors or secretaries that are really poor managers. You know, we were dealing with issues, the DHS. We just put out a report, for example, from my committee that looks at FEMA applications for help. These are people who have suffered from natural disasters. They were sitting on Kristi Noem's desk for a long period of time. People who needed help immediately. She said she had to look at every single one that was not that large, but still she wanted to look at everyone. But then what happened? Where the people were not getting help. And I think in a lot of ways she was showing that she just didn't care about people who were being impacted. So she certainly had some huge personal flaws. There's no question about it. We saw those demonstrated day in and day out. But ultimately, we have to put blame where blame should be, and that's with the president, and remind everybody out in the country that these people are basically doing his bidding. He's the one that's responsible for what's happening.
I think that's a very important point, Senator, because as this, I think we're now in, day 6 of this war that the president has started with Iran, a war that the explanation for the war keeps changing from the White House. I know today Secretary Heggs has said that they have very clear objectives and goals. I have not seen them. Interested if you have, sir. But one of the things that has popped up since this war started are Republicans on Capitol Hill saying, this is why, because we are now in this war, Democrats need to fully fund the Department of Homeland Security because it is making us as Americans more vulnerable because you all are not funding them. Is that an argument you think that is going to win out with members of your caucus? I personally don't think it should, Michael Steele, but you know what? The spines have not been steely all year long.
No.
So I'm interested in that because it's something that I keep hearing publicly, but I'm also hearing it privately.
Yeah, no, we're going to stand strong because we have to have those policies. And if you look at DHS, there are folks part of DHS that we don't have a beef with. We want our TSA agents to get paid. They're out there in the airports doing the work. We have FEMA that are dealing with natural disasters. We have CISA for cybersecurity. We put a bill today. We basically said pay everybody else, make sure that that's all funded, but no money, additional money for ICE. As you know, they're already fully funded with the bill that passed in the summer. So ICE has all the money they need. They are fully funded. The other agencies aren't. Let's fund them. Republicans said no. They basically want to hold TSA agents, CISA, our cybersecurity agency, and FEMA hostage because they don't want to have their federal agents have the same rules that our local police have in all of our communities. It's outrageous. But I'd also want to add, even prior to this budget battle that we're in right now, with the war in Iran, probably the biggest threat to the homeland right now that I worry about with Iran is cyber or cyber attacks. They're very sophisticated. They're fully capable of doing a lot of harm. And yet, prior to this, Kristi Noem, Donald Trump, they've laid off or pushed out 1/3 of the entire workforce of our cybersecurity folks, over 800 individuals. We're now trying to get more information about other individuals who are no longer doing cybersecurity work. They're doing immigration work. They're doing deportation work when they should be protecting our country from cyber attacks. That has to change. And those are the kinds of questions we're certainly going to ask the nominee to be secretary. Are you going to bring cyber professionals back on the job, particularly when the United States is war? Because this is an unacceptable risk that we're facing right now.